Most magicians start off doing magic that is self-working, and somehow over time we start to evolve to think that we have to do complex sleight of hand. But the reality is, that's not true. And in this episode of Erudite Magic, we're going to share a book that teaches some really hard-hitting and simple-to-do card magic. It's not all that often, but occasionally a new presentation or type of trick comes along and the entire magic world celebrates by creating variations. Back in May 1993, Jim Steinmeyer gifted the magic world with a new creation, the 9-card problem. If you don't already know it, the basic effect is that any 9 playing cards are taken from the deck. The participant chooses a card, loses the card, mixes the card, and yet they're able to find it themselves in an entertaining spelling procedure, often dressed in a liar or truth-teller type routine. The routine was originally published in Magic magazine and later saw print in the book Jim Steinmeyer's Impossibilities. As already mentioned, the magic world loved this effect so much that pretty much everyone and their brother came out with a variation. Enter Jim Scott. I've never met Jim. In fact, I had never even heard of Jim before someone approached me about this book. However, some preliminary internet research indicated that he is a magician residing in Colorado, has been an active performer since the mid-90s, and is primarily a gospel magic presenter. He was so inspired by Jim Steinmeyer's 9-card problem that he decided to study what made it tick and put his findings into print. He's released a book covering one topic: presentations inspired by and covering Steinmeyer's original trick. But what he's presented goes so much further than the original. The book is Spellbinders. It's a 2022 self-published paperback book with 80 different routines, 30 concepts, and 25 specific gospel presentations. As mentioned, it covers one specific type of effect, that is spelling or dealing playing cards to locate, predict, or position a specific card. Within the book, there are standard presentations like a liar or truth-teller style routine. There are spelling effects to spell certain cards and have them appear at the top of the packet, or even spell cards in succession and have each one turn up on top of the packet. Some of the effects have the performer doing the spelling or dealing, while others put everything in the hands of your participant. In fact, Mr. Scott offers some guidance on how to choose the right type of participant to involve them in that type of procedure. If you're getting value out of the channel, hit that like button so I'll know you're getting what you need. Although it sounds like the subject could be repetitive, there is a startling amount of variety to the types of tricks that he presents. You're using items with color cards, using jumbo dice to make selections about numbers, alphabet cards to spell things, playing cards, of course, presidential cards so that you can do an educational presentation. There are tricks with animals, fruits, colors, numbers, names, phone numbers, Uno cards, and there's even a miniature storytelling packet trick a la Sam the Bellhop called the Queen's Flat Tire, which was a personal highlight. Speaking of Jim Steinmeyer and his creation, he has read Spellbinders and liked it enough to decide to write the foreword, and was inspired enough by the ideas in it that he took 2 of the ideas published in Spellbinders and elaborated on them for a further creation that he published in the Impossibilities series. One of those 2 tricks, Fastest Neatest, is shared here in this book on page 110 and was published in Bewildering Impossibilities. This episode of Erudite Magic is being sponsored by Don's Magic and Books. Don runs a small magic bookstore online at donsmagicandbooks.com, where you can purchase the latest and greatest magic books as well as tricks, props, and DVDs. But one of the coolest parts of Don's website is that he is constantly acquiring new collections of used or out-of-print magic books. And he has recently acquired another collection of books, so get ready to dive in online and look for some of those books that you've been searching for a while and get them at extremely reasonable prices with Don. To make your dollars go even further than they already can on his website, he is offering a 10% off coupon this week with the code SCOTT. If you apply that at checkout, you'll save 10% off the lowest marked prices of everything on the website. And if you're buying $20 or more of media items shipped in the United States, you'll get a complete refund of your shipping charges. If you're one of my international friends, you can use the link on his website to shipit2.com to see how much exact shipping will be to your location. A lot of you have been taking advantage of these codes, and books are flying off the shelf, so be sure to stop over early and often and see what Don is getting in stock, or shoot him an email if there's a specific title you're looking for. Back to the review. So who would benefit from a book like this? If you're a gospel magic presenter, then this book is a slam dunk for you, and I recognize this is a relatively underserved subset of the magic community. Since Mr. Scott's background appears to be in gospel magic and in the Fellowship of Christian Magicians, so many of the presentations focus around this gospel or Bible magic. Dwayne Laughlin, a well-known magician and pastor, endorsed the book and had a lot of praise to say about it, so there's a lot of really great presentations if you're into that type of magic. There are presentations on the fruit of the Spirit, biblical prophecy, Jesus saves, etc. If you like to perform magic tricks for church members, Sunday schools, gospel presentations, or other similar situations, then you're going to get the most bang for your buck out of this book. But even if you're not a gospel magic performer, and I'm not typically, there's a ton of great magic covering so many different types of presentations. Cards, colors, letters, numbers, etc. For example, if you're a corporate performer or a salesperson who wants to share something interesting with one of your customers, you'll find applications to provide your phone number, discuss a specific product or company, or even using some alphabet cards to reveal the name of the contact with whom you're dealing. Everyone loves to see their name in print. And if you're a teacher, there are plenty of ways to share your message in an extremely magical and memorable way. These types of magic effects showcase magic that will fool yourself. So back to what I said at the beginning, you get into magic because you are amazed by things that seem like they're working by real magic, and this book has a lot of that type of material. So what kind of skill level will you need? As the author himself says, sleight of hand is almost non-existent in this book. If you can read and follow directions, you can perform these tricks. Some of them will require a bit of thinking on your part or a crib because there are variable outcomes, but the vast majority will perform the same way with the same words being spelled every time. So once you commit the words and the process to memory, there's nothing that could go wrong. The author does share why some of these items work, which I found to be interesting, but he encourages you all throughout the text that if you're not interested in that and you really just want to read and do what it says, you can do that and feel free to skip the explanation portions. Is there anything that I thought could have been better in this book? I personally would have loved to have seen a comprehensive index in the back, although the table of contents is certainly very serviceable and you won't have any trouble navigating the book. And while everything is well explained in the text, it's lacking a certain amount of visual aid that I think would make it more visually interesting. Basically what I'm saying is that the book is 100% text, so I know some of my viewers will probably weary of reading the book without something to kind of pick up their interest or change the pace a little bit. On the flip side of that, not paying to have the book illustrated kept the price down to a very affordable level. This book is self-published via Amazon.com, so if you go there, it is currently available for $24 and is Prime shipping eligible. While the author did send me a complimentary copy for review, I still think that this book offers a lot of value and is worth the asking price. I personally found value in several of the items, not the least of which is the aforementioned storytelling trick with a small packet of cards, the Queen's Flat Tire. With the number of presentations he shared, as well as the ability to customize with the tools that he's given you to whatever presentation you need it to be, I think this book is a winner. I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that plenty of versions of the 9-card problem have been put into print. And while Mr. Scott gives credit where credit is due, while I was researching for this episode, I came across a version from Apocalypse, April 1997. If you want to understand why I personally think that this trick being published is an example of extremely poor crediting, then be sure to check out my video on proper crediting and what we as a community can do about it. As always, my friends, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, keep reading.